Hey friends, this is Charnel here again. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm excited today to get into the 24 books from my personal library, my personal TBR that I want to read or I need to read in 2024. So these are books that I've personally owned, that I've been buying throughout the last year or just the last couple years, or I've even had some of these for years that I keep pushing off and I just haven't gotten to. But I was rereading some of the synopses, and I'm like, why didn't I read these yet? So I want to share them with you guys and get into create a TBR for this year that I am definitely going to get into this year and definitely going to read. Okay, so I'm going to start off with much talked about book last year from R.F. Kuang. I hope I'm saying that right. Yes, so I bought this like last summer because I was like, oh, it's a cute cover. And I've heard of this author from I don't know when it came out, but I heard of Babel. I haven't read it, but I've wanted to read it, so it's on my list. Not on my 2024 must reads, but it's like, oh, if I find it in the library or something, I'll probably get it. But yeah, so this is I'm actually sticking to my 24 books that you guys will see throughout the rest of the video, and I'm starting with my February book club read, Yellowface. I'm sure everybody knows what it's about because it's such a I don't want to say hype, that's the wrong word, but it's a much talked about book in the book community, whether on Book Talk, BookTube, Bookstagram, or just people you know probably have talked about this book. But it's essentially, if you're Black, you know about blackface, and there's some people you know of who, like, basically you're not Black, but you're acting like you're Black. It's another one I bought last year. I thought I was gonna read it immediately, but what I did wrong was I started reading the reviews and looking at reviews on TikTok, on Book Talk, and a lot of people didn't like this for some reason. So I think I shouldn't listen to what other people say, but it influenced me. So yeah, but I am gonna read it this year. It's on my list. So yeah, I'm excited about that. And the next one is the Blackwoods. This came out recently, I think towards the end of last year, of 2023. So it's the Blackwoods by Brandy Colbert. It's one of those styles of, like, I guess historical fiction, sort of, where it's like multi-generational, flashbacks, like from like the grandma, the mom, and stuff like that. So it seems like I started reading a couple pages, like I think in the bookstore, so there's a bookmark in there. But it goes back to like the 60s, the 50s, and it follows a family. So Blossom Blackwood. So she's a famous. This is fiction, by the way. So she's a famous silver screen actress, and she's the matriarch of this family, and we follow their journey. I really like stories like this. So another one that I think this reminds me of is, like, did you hear about Kitty Carr by Crystal Smith Paul, I believe is her last name. But that one, I love those old Hollywood type of stories, like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. If you know, you know. Yeah, so this is another one, the Blackwoods, but I think this is considered YA, which is fine because it's still It's Black Hollywood, it's glamour, and it's following a family, which is my type of fiction. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. Okay, and another one that I'm excited to read is The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. This was almost one of our book club reads. Hopefully we pick it for the end of the year for our July through December books. But book club patties, not enough of y'all voted for this, but I'm still gonna read it because I've been wanting to read this. And I like that it's a small book. I don't know why I always pick thick books. So when I saw this in Barnes and Noble, I was like, oh, thank God, it's a small book, and it's what is it? Let's see, it's like 179. No, wow, it's less than 200 pages. I think it's like 170 pages before you get to the acknowledgments. Okay, yeah, so this will be a good quick read. I've heard really good things about this. I'm excited to get into it this year. Let's Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. One of my best friends is Nigerian, so she'll correct me if I said that wrong. Okay, so this one I've had for years. I think I got this, at this point I probably got it in 2020, I believe, from like Book Outlet or something. But I've been wanting to read this because I went through a phase. I think it was after I read Homegoing in like 2016, 2017 or something, where I was just reading a lot of like just African authors. I think primarily like Ghanaian and Nigerian authors. And I was just down a rabbit hole just gobbling them up. Like Chimamanda is probably like, I think I read all her books, even like her small like little novelette books, like We Should All Be Feminists and things like that. So I started buying Chinua Achebe books, but I haven't gotten into this one, and I know like it's like multi parts. Like there's more books after this within the same story, and I know it's a heavy book. That's probably why I've been holding off on this one. It's not really like fiction, like Chimamanda's books or Yajiasi's books or something. But those are also heavy though. Now I'm thinking about it, because there's like it's fiction, but it's based in like real history, like real Nigerian history, real Ghanaian, and obviously chattel slavery through the Caribbeans and the US. So it's based in real history, but I don't know, like this one, for some reason it's scaring me to read it because it seems really heavy, but I do want to challenge myself to get out of that comfort zone because it's history that's very important. And sometimes I just shut myself off from that because it's like I think I just get triggered because it's like real history, even though it's fiction. So I am gonna challenge myself to really read this year. Every year I say I'm gonna read it, and it just sits on my shelf, but I'm gonna really get into it this year. Okay, and then the next book that I want to read is The God of Good Looks. So this is a Caribbean author. It's set in Trinidad and Tobago. Yes, this is set in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Jamaican, but I want to read a Trini book too. And I've heard really good things about this. I believe this came out last year or the year before. No, I think it came out in 2022, not 2023. But yeah, and it has so many quotes from like authors and stuff, like praising it. Like Nikki May, the author of Wahala. If you haven't read Wahala, that's a mess of a book. It's another Nigerian book. Yeah, I just love African stories. It's probably why most of my personal friend group, like my close friend group, are there. I think they're all African. Yeah, yeah. I'm obsessed with being Black and African. Okay, so this is, yep, and it's also, there's another quote by the author of On Rotation. It's also on my bookshelves. It's not in my 2024 list, but I do want to read it. By Charlene Obuobi. Charlene Obuobi. Okay, I think that said that right. But yes, isn't the cover so pretty? I think that's the main thing I saw when I first saw this book, like on Goodreads, I think. I was like, oh, it's a pretty cover. And then I really got into it. I was like, oh, it's a Caribbean story. But yeah, I'm excited to read this one. The God of Good Looks. A Trinity story. Let's see. And another one that I'm excited to get into this year is Evil Eye by Etaf Rum. And I just love this name, this author's name. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but I'm like gravitated to the name Etaf Rum. It just sounds so beautiful. And I believe they have other books. Oh yes, A Woman Is No Man. I've seen that one around like Goodreads and on Book Talk, I believe. To get into this one, Evil Eye by Etaf Rum. Okay, another family anthology is One Blood by Deneen Milner. I look at this cover. Oh, like all of these. Like, I just keep seeing this little girl's face. Like, she just reminds me of me when I was little. Like, that sad look, that haunting look. But you're probably not sad. Like, I just looked like that when I was little. Yes, so I'm really excited to get into One Blood. I did start reading a couple pages, like, around, like, the holidays. And I was into it, but I think I got, like, distracted by other... Like, you know, like, we want to read, like, holiday stories and stuff like that. Man, it's another one where there's so much praise for, so much praise on the back. From other authors that I know, like T.L. Williams, girl. The author of 7 Days in June, one of my faves. So she's praising this story. Tarana Burke, if you know, you know. And then... Yeah. Oh, Lucy Ann Hurston. Okay. And so this one is, sorry, it's another long synopsis, but thrust into the world of Black and socially ambitious, Grace finds herself trapped in a society of stifling respectability, fancy teas, and coveted debutante balls. And okay, let me just kind of skip ahead. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, so it's gonna follow her daughter, Dolores, and then and then Ray. Okay, so it's set in the 1960s, all the way through the 2000s. So again, it's one of those historical fictions that's following a family through the generations, and I'm a sucker for those types of stories, so I'm excited. And then what's the next one? Another one is, so this one has been on my watch list, TBR list for years. When did this even come out? Vagabonds, a novel by Ilogosa Osunde. And this is another set in Nigeria book. Oh yeah, so this came out in 2022. So I think I first saw it on Goodreads. I think it was like on Goodreads, like, you know, anticipated new releases of that year, 2022. And what drew me was just like this is it's a short synopsis. So in much of Nigeria, vagabonds are those whose existence is literally outlawed. The queer, the displaced, the footloose, and rogue spirits. Ilagosa Osunde's brave, fiercely inventive novel traces a wild array of characters for whom life itself is a form of resistance. Blending unvarnished realism with myth and fantasy, Vagabonds is a vital work of imagination that takes us deep inside the hearts, minds, and bodies of a people in duress and in triumph. Doesn't that sound good? I'm excited to get into this one. It's been on my TBR for a while, so since it came out then in 2022. I don't know why I feel like it was longer. But yeah, I finally found it. I found it at Barnes and Noble, like during the holidays. You know, that week between Christmas and New Year's, my family and I were just traveling around to different family members around us. So we spent the weekend in Philly. Tangent. I think it was like a buy one get one. Yeah, it's like a buy one get one 50% off table of like paperbacks. So I was like, yeah, I got this one. Okay, so the next one is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. So I told y'all before that I am a scaredy cat. I just barely read my first thriller this past year. Introduced to Sister Frida McFadden, and then through Kindle Unlimited, and then Libby, like, you know, ebooks, free ebooks through your library. I started reading what is her name? I think Shri Lapina. And then I read like The Paris Apartment. Is that Riley Sager? I don't know. Oh no, I think it's Lucy Full. I don't know. But I read The Paris Apartment. So I'm trying to stick to that vein of types of thrillers, I guess, like psychological and stuff like that. But I don't know why this one is like drawing me in. So I bought it from one of my local bookstores. And it was a signed copy. So that's cool. So I hope I'm not too scared, because if I am, I will DNF it. And one of my friends, y'all know who you are if you're watching, book club baddies, whoever, you'll be getting this. Because if it scares me, I'm getting rid of it. But yeah, I just got it like very recently. I think this past fall. So I'm excited to get into this one. And what drew me in is Mary Kubica. That's who I was thinking of. I'm like, what other author was it? Yeah, it was Mary Kubica, not Shri Lapina. I don't think I've read Shri Lapina's books. So this one it's a long synopsis, but okay, here's a little summary. Best-selling author Riley Sager returns with a delicious, twisty, and addictive gothic thriller about accused of a Lizzie Borden-like massacre decades earlier. So she's basically accused of killing her whole family. Like decades earlier, yeah. Okay, so it's another one of those whodunits that I've gotten addicted to. Excuse me. Okay, so the next book that I really want to get into this year is Girl, Woman, Other. I recently just purchased this book. I think like last month in December, but it's been on my like Goodreads TBR for a while. For years, actually, yeah. So the synopsis is, it's about the magnificent portrayal of the intersections of identity in a moving and hopeful story of a group of Black British women. Girl, Women, Other is populated with unforgettable characters, from a lesbian playwright to a jaded school teacher to a non-binary social media influencer. It says it's sparkling, witty, and it's centering voices we often see othered, and written in an innovative, fast-moving form. This is a polyphonic social novel by a masterful writer who has finally been lauded at the level she has long deserved. And this is by Bernardine Evaristo. And I'm excited to get into this. This kind of reads like it sounds like Vagabonds, like it's a group of misfits. Not even misfits, just like people on the outside, basically, people who have been othered and, in society. So I feel like I'm gonna learn something from this book. I'm excited about that. And then another one that's been on my Goodreads, just personal TBR, for years is White Teeth by Zadie Smith. She's another one of my faves. Zadie Smith, Chimamanda, and Yaya Gyasi, I think, are some of my favorite authors. From Zadie Smith, I read On Beauty, and I forget the other one, but On Beauty, I loved it. It was a hard read, but I really loved that book. And just Zadie Smith's writing style, it's just so different. But I think that's why she's like I think she's been writing since like the 90s or like the early 2000s. But she's like a really celebrated like literary fiction author. But I've been wanting to read White Teeth for years. I found a deal. I got it for like $5 on either Thrift Books or Book Outlet. I think Thrift Books a few months ago, and I'm excited to get into it. So, does it have a synopsis? White Teeth is a funny, generous, big-hearted novel adored by critics and readers alike, dealing with friendship, love, war, 3 cultures, and 3 families over 3 generations. Oh, another generational book, yay! And the tricky way the past has of coming back and biting you on the ankle. It is a life-affirming, writer's must-read of a book. But yeah, so that was a national bestseller. White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Okay, and another one is, I probably have to go faster. Dele Weds Destiny by Tomi Obaro. Another one I've been wanting to read. She's gorgeous. The author's gorgeous. Wow. I'm excited to get into this one. This is another one about like a group of friends, another Nigerian book, a Nigerian author. So Funmi, Enitan, and Zainab, they met at university in Nigeria and became friends for life. Things happen, friendship fall apart, but they endure, and something happens. They get back together after years, looks like decades. When one of their daughters is getting married. Her daughter's name is Destiny. So that's where that's coming in from. The title's coming in from. So it is such a pretty cover too. So ready to get into this one. Sorry, excuse me. Another one I've been wanting to read is Black Buck by Mateo Ascaripor. I actually saw that another booktuber that I've been following for a while is Shaughnessy Schroeder. I saw that she read this, I think like last year, and her review interested me because I've been seeing this book for a while, like around like on Twitter and stuff like that, but it just never really interested me. But I figured I would pick it up, so I got it like last year sometime. Excited to read it. I don't really read a lot of male authors. I think Riley Sager is the only male, and Chinua Achebe, obviously, author like on my list. But yeah, so this one seems like I did hear that this is a funny book, so I'm excited to read it and see what it's about. And then take the receipt out. And then The Girl with the Louding Voice. I need to move this up on my TBR. I want to read this book so bad. And It's who is it by? Abby Dare, I think. And it's a read with Jenna book. So I'm excited to read this one. It's another Nigerian author, another Nigeria based setting of a book. And so this one is about like the remarkable, inspiring story of a teenage girl growing up in a rural Nigerian village who longs to get an education so that she can find her louding voice and speak up for herself. The Girl with the Louding Voice is a simultaneously heartbreaking and triumphant novel about the power of fighting for your dreams. Oh, yes. Oh, we're getting into this one soon. Yes, we are. Okay. Now we in some mess because I don't know how I got sucked into this world or even how I found out about this, but so this one is going to probably count as one. So I'm into Magnolia Parks at my big age of 33. I just want these people to get it together. So I don't have it next to me, but I read the first Magnolia Parks book. And I was like, this is like, okay, so I'm 33. So when I was coming up, we had like Laguna Beach. We had, with like Lauren and Kristen, and is it the city? Yeah, I think it was the city. And we had Baldwin Hills and stuff like that. There were obviously reality and sort of like fake storylines, but it just read like this. Like the friend groups, you're dating him, but then y'all break up, so he dates your best friend. Like, it's stuff like that. So I'm into it. And, you know, obviously Gossip Girl, original Gossip Girl, and stuff like that. It reads like that. So, and then the main girl, the main protagonist, I guess, is a black girl. It's a rich millionaire black girl with her own private jet. Yeah. So the next one is in the series. It's by Jessa Hastings. Sorry. So the next one in the series is Daisy Hates. So she's not really in Magnolia Parks' crew, but she's adjacent. So she has her own little story. And I think she's like, her family's like in the mob or something. They're doing something, so I'm into it. And then it goes back to, this is the third book. Yes, this is the third book. The Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. And then this is the fourth book, back to Daisy Hates. So Daisy Hates, The Great Undoing. I think this is the last book, and then I believe another one comes out like next month or March or something. Please let me know in the comments if you know. But I've heard there's another one coming. But I'm taking my time with this series because, like, you know, when you're grown, it's like set anymore. So yeah, but it's still good. Yes, if you want some mess, get into it. Okay, and the next one is another British book, The Situationship by Taylor Dior Rumble. I've been stalking this one for so long because every time I tried to buy it, like just try to find it at any bookseller, it wasn't available. And I finally found out that it was only available in the UK. And then finally I saw it on Amazon that it was ready, like it was available in the US. I saw it in like November or something, and I bought it in December. So I'm excited about this. Maybe I'll read it for like Valentine's Day. Oh yeah, maybe a video will come up with this one. Because if you've grown, you already know what situationships are. It looks like one of them wants to get out of the situationship and raise it to the next level, be a really real relationship, and we go from there. I'm ready to read it, so soon. And then I'm reading this like ASAP, Julie. This is gonna be read, because the third one, I didn't even realize the third one comes out like next month, or like it's either next month or like April or something. So I think in my first video I referenced that I literally just finished the audiobook of the Gilded Ones, which is the first one. And I just want to read the physical book for the rest of the series, because I just loved it so much, and I'm just rooting for Dika. She's the main. This is probably supposed to be her, but she's the main character, and I'm just rooting for her. So I bought the second one, and then I'll obviously be buying the third one when it comes out in the next couple months. And yes, nothing else needs to be said. And the author is Namina Forna. So we're getting into that soon. And another book that is on my 2024 physical TBR that will be read this year, in 2024, is The Days of Afrikete. Sorry, I don't know. And the author is Asali Solomon. Looks like she's also the author of Disgruntled, if you've heard of that one. I know nothing. I know nothing about this book. I was in my the bookstore that I always go to. If you know me, you know where I always go to. And it's like a 20-minute walk from my house, which is a bad thing. And I was just in there, like, after I get allergy shots, and it's like right down the street from where I get my allergy shots. And if I have extra time and I don't have to rush back home to log back on to work, I'm going to that bookstore. If you know me, you know what I'm talking about. And I think it was like one of those, I was just browsing like deep into their shelves one day, and I found this. I was like, oh, this sounds cool. And it was like, I think it was on sale for like $10 or something. So I got it. And then the synopsis, and again, I like how little it is. Sometimes I need to give myself a break. I'll be reading these thick books. So I was like, oh yes, this would be a good like little break between my thick books. So quick synopsis, summary. Let's see. Okay, so it's about Lizelle Belmont is having a dinner party. Her husband, Wynn, just lost his bid for state legislature. The time has come to thank supporters for their efforts. When an FBI agent shocks her with the news that Wynn might be facing corruption charges, an avalanche of questions tumbles around her. Who have they become? How much of herself has she lost? And how can she possibly make it through this party? Across town, Selena Octave is working her way through the same day, just as she always does, one foot in front of the other. Her life has not been easy. The only time she was ever really happy was with Lizelle back in college. Oh, wait, I forgot. Oh, okay, so they've lost touch, but as the day wears on, memories of Lizelle begin to shift Selena's path. Inspired by Mrs. Dalloway, Sula, and Audre Lorde's Sami, Asali Solomon, The Days of Afrikete is an electrifying and utterly human story of two women coming back to themselves and perhaps each other. Wow, I didn't remember that. Okay, so it's kind of some mess. And this, so it looks like Raven Lalani, I think she's the author of Luster. She said it kept me up all night. Isaac Fitzgerald said it's filled with hope, heartache, and longing. I love this book so much. Okay, this might have to get moved up. It sounds really good. Okay, let me try to move fast. So, the next book, The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honoré Fanon Jeffers. So, like a summer read where I just take my time, you know, maybe if I travel or something this summer, and it could be like just a long read. And I am so ready to get into this. Yeah, this is like one of my favorite reads already, and I haven't even read it. So the last two books are, so y'all know I'm Jamaican. I rep it all day, every day. So the last two books are by Jamaican authors, and they're both set in Jamaica. So this one is Patsy by Nicole Dennis Ben. Yeah, Dennis Ben. I don't know why I thought it was Benson or something. So she's the same author. So, I didn't even realize that. My bad. She's the same author of the other book, Here Comes the Sun. Okay, so these are the last two. Last but not least, are the same author, and they're both set in These books are both set in Jamaica, my homeland, my motherland. But and yeah, I'm ready to read about. This is probably gonna. I feel like these two are gonna be heavy reads. Maybe it's because I'm Jamaican. I don't know, but I'll space them out. But yeah, so those are the 24 books that I plan to read in 2024. And yeah, so thank you for watching this long video. And yeah, thank you.